speaking of Jokic, let's go to that series first. Since Denver is already up 2-0, so they obviously beat the Timberwolves, handled them in a gentleman's sweep, as the Suns did, handled the Clippers. So obviously Nuggets the 1 seed, Suns the 4 seed. First 2 games have gone the Nuggets' way, John. And now CP3, he injured his groin, I believe, if that's correct, in game 2. I saw on Bleacher Report before we got on here, expected to miss games 3 through 5. So an already, sketchy depth for the Suns gets even sketchier. What were your thoughts on this series and its outcome?
The concerning part to me for the Suns here is that, yesterday they put up 87 points. Like, this is a team, we talked about it when the Kevin Durant trade went down. They're going to beat you by outscoring you. They have Kevin Durant, they got Devin Booker, they got Chris Paul, but now he's going to be out, so they don't even have him. And you add in DeAndre Ayton. Like, this is a team that we expected, if they're going to win like beating you like 125 to 124, 135 to 134, like big points. And then yesterday they come out and the Nuggets just completely stifle them. And at the same time, they have no answer for Jokic, who drops 39 and 16 and 5. Like, if that's what the Nuggets are able to accomplish is 87 points, like if they're going to struggle to score, I just don't see a way in which they win this series, especially without Chris Paul, because I don't think that, for example, DeAndre Ayton or anybody basically not named Kevin Durant or Devin Booker can consistently create their own shot unless Chris Paul was doing it for them. And that's kind of my biggest worry with Ayton, has always been, like, he just hasn't ever shown that he's able to take that step where he can create offense for himself. And so I think this puts even more of the burden onto Durant and Booker. And if they have a night like they did last night where the rest of the team isn't helping them whatsoever, and, Booker drops 35, which is great, but Durant only puts up 24, not 34, 24, like that just didn't get it done for the Suns. And so it looks like for the Suns to really have a chance, we need Booker and Durant to both be putting up minimum 30 apiece. And, I don't know. That's tough to really rely on. And so I don't want to say this is going to be a sweep, but it's starting to really look like that. The Nuggets just look like they're the better team.
Yeah, I think 2 main things. One, the Suns, it's especially this series. I think I'll try to go back to game 1. But it was a little bit prevalent in the Clippers series, the 3-point percentage. They were signing for a lot of mid-range jumpers, which, if you think about it, like you mentioned, Chris Paul kind of lives in the mid-range. Booker, more of a mid-range player, and same with KD too. And as good as they are in the mid-range, that's where they need to support guys. I think to cash in more threes, and they haven't been able to. So Leonis has kind of been on the Suns. Game 1, Suns shot 7 for 23 from 3, 30%. Nuggets 16 for 37, 43%. Boom, the Nuggets win that one, obviously. And you mentioned the other night, the Nuggets win in a defensive kind of struggle, 97-87. That was even worse for the Suns. They went 6 for 31. And yeah, now that Chris Paul's out too, it's like, man, like, how are they going to, I feel like it was tough for them to generate threes already. And it seems like, I'll give credit to the Nuggets too. They seem, and I'm not sure, we should have charted this. I'm sure there's probably numbers, but it seems like the Nuggets kind of doing what the Heat have been doing, which is they've kind of been playing this kind of 2-3 zone too, to limit, I guess, their fouls, and then make things tougher on the Suns. And yeah, it's really tough at this point to not go with the Nuggets, because I think another important aspect it's been throughout the playoffs, but especially in this first part of the series, has been rebounding. And, I mentioned that thing in our group chat, that little clip where Ayton wasn't even, boxing out, which, I'm not trying to throw all the shade on Ayton, but Denver's got a size advantage. And obviously Jokic is a beast, but, Aaron Gordon's, 6'9", 6'10" wing. And I know KD's, about, people say he's about 7 foot, but he's kind of a thinner guy. Then even if you keep going down, Michael Porter Jr. is like 6'9", 6'10", and then the Suns. Then that's when their Suns really go down, because then they play it's either Okogie, who's more of a guard. I know he can guard threes, but he's 6'4". Like, size is a bit of a skill here, and I know rebounding is not just size, a little bit attitude and effort, but you got to do all those little things in the playoffs, and it just seems like right now, it just seems like the Suns are just haven't figured it all out in terms of cohesiveness as an entire unit. It was just kind of one of the fears that we had going into this postseason. So, yeah, if I had to guess like a game, you don't have to guess a game, but in game amount, I'm gonna say Suns in 6. I'm not gonna do the gentleman's sweep. I mean, we've seen Booker blow up a couple times these playoffs.
Wait, hold on. You're taking the Suns to win?
Nuggets to win. Nuggets in 6. Thank you.
I just had to clarify.
Clarification. No, Nuggets in. I'm sorry for European Panda, but yeah, Nuggets in 6. I feel like I'm being a little bit generous giving the Suns an extra game. I mean, who knows? Maybe I got to give Monty Williams, maybe a little benefit of the doubt. Maybe they figure something out there. But with Chris Paul's injury, who was already kind of playing shaky Chris Paul, especially in terms of scoring. It doesn't help that he's out. And I know Campaign has stepped in. There's going to be someone out there that says, well, Campaign played great in the bubble. But once again, that was like, a couple of years ago. And he really hasn't. And even that year, too, he was playing really well the year they went to the finals, like throughout the playoffs and a bit in the regular season, too. This year that I just don't have, the track record to say, okay, at least he's been producing a couple times this year where I feel confident for him stepping in for Chris Paul. I don't. And we've already mentioned we don't think Ayton, or I don't think Ayton's going to, rise to the occasion. No offense to him, but, we kind of know the guy he is. So, I think Denver handles their business in 6. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we move over to the East?
I think that's going to be for me. I would say if I had to pick a game number, I think I'd go Nuggets in 5 at this point. I think maybe when we head to Phoenix, they grab 1 because Booker and Durant combine for, a crazy game where maybe they both put up 40 or something because they're certainly capable of that. But other than that, I don't know. Like I said, the lack of defense worries me, and the fact that the lack of offense showed up too. I don't think they got it.
And I want to one more thing too with Nuggets, which is so tough because we mentioned lack of defenders for the Suns. We saw game 1, Jamal Murray went off, and then game 2, there's an emphasis of not letting him, not going under all the screens, going over, making sure he doesn't get those free threes. But then, like you mentioned. Oh, now Jokic drops 39 and 16 and has a lot. He only had 5 assists, but he generated a lot of their offense off that. And that their role players, obviously KCP, very underrated role player. He's been playing really well for them. I mentioned Aaron Gordon, but then guys like Bruce Brown, good defense, okay shooter off the bench, and even getting some contribution from is that Christian Braun? I always forget his first name. Christian Braun, the rookie out of Kansas. So. We expect the Suns, not the Suns, jeez, I almost did it again. We expect the Nuggets to handle their business against the Suns. Be very interesting this offseason for the Suns. Do you keep Chris Paul? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there because I felt like that should be a question going forward because we finally have seen kind of what is it. At least this year's been a disappointment for Chris Paul. Statistically, we've seen him kind of fall off a cliff a bit.